Hello, my fellow pilgrims. Irahuer is here, and this is video number 6. And this is the tips which I would like to share, and they are quite random. They're not following one theme. Those are the things which I notice that they either were strange to me, or not helpful, or helpful. So it's a lot of things which are very, very random, to be honest. And I want to start with an interesting, and for me, that was very unexpected because I am a big dog lover, right? So I don't have a fear of dogs. And I found myself in several situations when actually the first time in my 48 years, I was afraid that the dog might bite me. And the situation with dogs arises because sometimes your route is planned by commute through the private lands. It happened to me a couple of times when I was walking through a big farm. And on that farm, because it's private land, there are free dogs running. And it's their job to protect this area from strangers. And you're the stranger and you're walking there. So obviously, they are very unhappy about that. And at some point, my initial reaction, although I'm carrying a walking stick, and my initial reaction, because I was so scared that the dog might charge at me, because they were right, 3 of the big dogs were running at me. And one came really, really close and was very aggressive and was barking. And I really wanted to run or use my stick or do something. And I realized that instead of that, I have to lower my gaze, don't look straight at it, don't be intimidating, make myself small, and slowly start to backing down. It took me a while. It took me around 10 minutes to leave this area, to leave this inner road in the private farm and get rid, because the dogs would not follow you. They are just in their own area and they are protecting the area. And that was not the only one time I saw dogs which were guarding the stock, the livestock as well. And there was a very small kind of wire fence which can be easily crossed. So anyway, be aware where you're walking and that some dogs can be quite intimidating. So this is number 1. Now, number 2 is dealing with public transportation. And I need to put a disclaimer and say that I did not really use a lot of public transportation, and I used the bus only once through 26 days of my walking. I made a mistake in planning. I realized that I plan a walk over 38 kilometers. That would not be possible physically for me. So I decided to take a bus. And what's interesting is that you would think that you're in the European Union, right? So it's a Google map. It gives you kind of rough estimation of how often the bus would go, and even if it's not precisely that schedule, you would expect that this is something close to that schedule. So I'll tell you the story. It's a fun one. I'm in Pietralunga. I need to take a bus from Pietralunga to Gubbio. I've checked Google Maps. I see that there are 2 buses going in the morning. Makes sense. People going to work to a bigger place. So I don't trust only Google Maps. And I want to kind of mitigate my risks. So I walk into the bar and ask the guy who works in the bar, and I'm asking, like, what's the deal with the buses? And he definitively says, you know what? It's only one bus in the morning, and it's sharp at 6 a.m. I said, wow, that's early. Even in my standards, it's early. And he's like, yeah, 6 a.m. I'm like, all right. 6 a.m. it is. I walk out. I decided to check the bus stop, where exactly it stops. I come to the bus stop and there is a notice that because of the slide or something wrong with the route, I automatically obviously translate, the bus in the morning will be arriving 15 minutes earlier than usual, which puts it at 6:20. I'm like, okay. It's close what Google Maps said, and it's a bit later than the guy said, so let me go and take a bus the earliest, 6 a.m. So 10 minutes to 6 next morning, I am at the bus stop. No bus, 6 no bus, 6:05 no bus. I said, all right, I'm gonna wait for the bus. I am not taking a taxi. It's extremely expensive. Guys, when you're taking the taxi, I had a plan B. Obviously, with the taxi, it's the only way for me, but it was quite expensive, over 150 euro. Not my thing. So I am determined to wait for the bus. I decided to grab a coffee. I walk into the bar. It's open already. I said, hey, hi, morning, good morning. And he's like, oh, you're leaving? Yeah, I'm leaving. Oh, waiting for the bus. Yeah, you said at 6, but it's still not there. He's like, I never said 6. I said 7. I'm like, come on. Even I don't speak Italian, but I was absolutely sure I translated you. And he's like, oh yeah, 7. Today at 7. So, cut the story short. The bus showed up at 6:40. He was extremely surprised to find me running towards it. It was a very big bus, like the one which I would expect taking, I don't know, between big cities, like this regional bus. I was the only one to the suburbs of Gubbio, and only then people start to come in. So lesson learned, plan the bus, but make sure that you have some other plan to follow, because the bus might not, you might not know something about the bus schedule. I did fail to get a bus in the other place. I ended up walking way too much and then just asking for a short ride, couple of kilometers. I just stopped the car. Nice older lady gave me a ride. But you need to be aware of that. I'm not saying it's bad and everywhere. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that you need to have plan B, C, and other letters, all right, to make sure that you arrive to the place where you need to be. That's number 2. Number 3, quite controversial topic of carrying water. How much water do you need to carry? How much water do you need to drink while you're walking? Of course, there is really tons of opinions about that. My opinion is very simple because I tried to carry a lot of water before in Spain, and I switched to a filter, which I described in detail in my video about packing and what were the stars of my packing, which really helped me. One of it was my filter. Now, of course, if you're walking through civilization, let's say there are farms, there are small places, of course, in the end of the day, you can stop at any place and just ask a person for aqua, for water, and they will give it to you. They're very, very friendly, even if you don't speak a word of Italian. You just learn aqua, and that will be enough. However, to carry, just to try to mitigate the risk and carry a lot of water will add a lot to your weight, to your backpack. So I'm carrying the filter. I would use, in the mountains, you would have a lot of springs. In Italy, there are fountains with non-drinkable water, which I can use my filter again to purify the water. And actually, it helped a lot, even in accommodations. I would not be going to supermarket to buy water, bottled water. I would use a tap water, and sometimes it wasn't really good. So I would just purify with my filter and have a decent cup of coffee at the hostel. Let's put it this way, right? And and it's a 600 milliliter filter. I would drink, and then I will keep a little bit just in case if I would not see the next stream. Now, it's tricky if you're walking in a dry season, somewhere in the middle of the summer, there will not be streams. So in that case, you would be forced to carry some water and you would not be able to rely only on a filter. But again, if it's not just mountains and no civilization, you can always ask, and do ask this. Don't hesitate to do that. People are quite nice. One of the I stopped in one of my days, and this older couple, zero English, very little Italian from my side. And she not only filled my filter, but she brought the big bottle of water. She's like, take it. I was like, no, thank you. I have the filter. She's like, no, take it. You need to drink. I'm like, no, I'm good. Thank you so much. Very, very friendly people. All right, moving on. I would like to kind of make a disclaimer that despite the fact that Komoot is an excellent map to plan your trip, you cannot only rely on Komoot. You cannot 100% trust Komoot to go, first of all, the official way, or go the way which will be reasonable. So it tries its best, but you need to be aware that sometimes you might end up in a situation where what it shows to be a walking path, it's just a goat trail. You know, I can't call it different. It's almost non-existent. You look at it and you think, Jesus, this is not the trail. I mean, it cannot be the trail, but it is. And in this situation, there was there were more, but just one of it, when it showed, it tried to get me to the point faster. And then I ended up looking like on a vertical ascent and thinking, no way I'm gonna do that. So no, just check it. Check where it sends you and make a rational decision based on your abilities. So that's that. Now, the last one I want to mention is the tapes, the taping of your body. You know, this orthopedic, like this different color tapes. I mentioned that in my packing video, but it really made a lot of difference when I started feeling ache in my first left and then both feet. I can't obviously say that I know what happened. I mean, I don't know the diagnosis. I'm not a doctor, but I know that even maybe it had a placebo effect when I taped it. I learned it through the video. It's very easy nowadays to have access to this information. So when I tape it, it just had this support for me. You know, it's in my head probably, but it did make a difference. So consider taking it with you. Maybe learn before how to tape. I saw people taping their knees, their ankles, their shoulders. I mean, it does make difference. It's not coming only from me, but from other pilgrims as well. And the absolutely last one is the stretching and kind of taking care of your body while you're walking. I was preparing for this trip. I lived, I walked, I did the rooking, I was carrying I'm walking with my dog with the backpack, with the weight in it. But in the beginning, I overestimated myself. I thought that, well, I'm trained enough, I'm prepared enough, and I kind of stopped stretching before and after, and that added a lot to my problems with my feet. So I encourage you to maybe do a little bit of lymph tapping or stretching or movements, like warm yourself up before, and when you come back, take a shower, relax, and then do a little bit more to help your joints, muscles, and your body in general. It will thank you, and it will help tremendously on this long walks without days off. Well, maybe you even plan a day off, no walking day, which I didn't. I had 26 days of walking. I did not have the luxury to add more time to be there. But again, it was my mistake. I wasn't taking care enough of my body. So these are the random things, again, which happened to me on my walk. And if you have any other questions, or maybe you have things which I didn't cover or you experienced before, write them in the comments or ask me in the comments. That would be nice to have a conversation, and maybe even for me to learn things for my future long walks. Alright guys, that was Irahoyer. That was the video about tips, random tips, which really helped me or was a challenge during my San Francisco walk this April. Alright, till next time, bye!